Welcome to Belle's Sewing Studio. I'm Julia Walker. Today we're going to do the diagram to show how to make the gore skirts with the flare and the hemline. So here I have the drawing on the board. How the drawing is done using your 1/8 of the. Welcome to Ville's Sewing Studio. Today we are going to be doing the flare gored skirt. So you have the diagram showing you what the skirt looks like when it is finished. Over here, I'm going to draw the pattern to make one of the gore. So your AC and BD is going to be the length of your skirt, and your AB and CD will be 42 centimeters wide. Now this can vary depending on how wide you want each gore to be at the hemline. After you do your rectangle, you need to find 1/8 of the waist measurement and 1/8 of the hip measurement. This is because we are going to be doing 8 gores. If you are doing 10 gores, then it will be 1/10 of the measurement. Okay, so whenever you get that, whatever you get as the 1/8 of the waist, you're going to add seam allowance, which is 2.5. Because we're going to need to join each one of these gores together. So we need 2 seam allowances for each gore. So it's 1/8 of the waist plus your seam allowance. It's 1/8 of the hip plus your seam allowance. The seam allowance we use is 2.5 centimeters. Okay, so we have our rectangle here, and we're going to use these measurements. So the center line is halfway between A and B. Then we're going to draw the hip line in. And remember, in the basic skirt, your hip line is 18 centimeters down from the waist, or 20 centimeters, depending on the height of the person. So your AB line is your waistline. That's your waistline. So we're going to come down 20 centimeters and draw the line across there. And this line is going to be your hip line. So that's hip line. Okay, and then to get the flare, you can determine how far down from the waist or from the hip you want to have your flare starting. So this line can vary. Okay, so let's say we call this line as F, we could call this line E, which is now your hip line, and we can call this line G, which is the line that we will shape we will do the flare from. We will do your flare. Alright, so the 1/8 of your waist plus the 2.5. Let's use an example. We could say we're using 10 centimeters for the 1/8. We're going to add 2.5 to that. So we're going to have 12.5 cm. So that's what we're going to use for the waist. And let's say we're using 20 for the hip. We're going to add 2.5 to that. So that's going to give us 22.5 cm. Okay, so now at the waist we will share this 12.5 in 2. So on this side of the center line you're going to go 6.25, and on this side you go 6.25, and you mark. Alright, so we'll measure across and mark. And then at the hip line we're going to go across 11.25. So we're going to go 11.25. Okay. It's a little bit Alright. And whatever the hip is, we go 2 centimeters more to give it a shape. Alright? So we're going to come out a little bit more down here. Alright, so we're going to join the points together now. So we use your meter stick and you draw the line. Here. And here. Okay, and we do the same thing on the other side. Come to here. And from there to here, and then we come out of the hemline. Okay. So there we have the shape for the gore skirt with the flare at the bottom. Now the hemline, we're going to go up . We're going to go up 1.5 centimeters and bring it on a curve like that. So we go up 1.5. It must be curved up to the side. So when you join your flares, you won't have them going down at the ends there. Alright, so I'm going to go it over again with you. We're doing today the gore skirt with the flare, and this is a pattern that we're going to be using for that skirt. This is what it looks like when it's finished. That's the front and that's the back. So we're doing 8 gores, so that's why we divide the waist and the hip by 1/8. To the 1/8 measurement, we're going to need a seam allowance, which is 2.5 centimeters. And that's added both to the waist and to the hip. Okay, so I have an example here, where if your 1/8 is 10 centimeters, then you would add 2.5 to it, you would get 12.5. If your 1/8 is 20, you add 2.5, you get 22.5. Same. Alright, so you have your AB, which is going to be the width of the flare. So that's 42 centimeters. That's the width of the flare. Remember now, you can change this depending on how wide you want your hemline to be. Alright, so that's 42 cm. And then the length, which is your AC, is the length that you want plus your hemline. Now when we're doing flares, we do very thin hemline, so you would use just 2 centimeters for the hemline. Alright, now in basic skirt, we have to use our hip as our guide for shaping. So we do the same thing here. So we'll come down from A to give us line E, which is your hip line. Alright, so this line is your hip line. Alright, and then this line is the one that you want to give the flare. So here can vary higher or lower depending on the effect you want of the skirt. Okay, so when you have done that from the center line, which is line F, remember now line F is halfway between A and B. Line F is halfway between A and B. So when you are finished, you're going to use this information to shape the lines down like that. Alright, 2 lines. So your 12.5, from F you measure across 6.25. So the measurement is going into that direction. That direction, okay? And you use half of it. The same thing here, it's going into that direction, that direction. And you measure half of this, okay? So in this case, it would be 6.25 for here. And the same thing will go over here. And for this one, it will be 11.25. Centimeters, and over here will be 11.25 centimeters. And then we're going to add 2 to this, so it will be 13.25 cm and 13.25 cm. And again, you take it from the center out to the side, so the measurements go in that direction, from the center out. Then you join your points together and into the D and C, so the flare is at the hemline. At the corners at D and at C, you go up 1.5 centimeters, 1.5 centimeters, and that's where you get the shape. Up 1.5 cm from C and D. Okay. All right, now we're going to be doing that on the C and D. We're going to be doing that on the paper, and then we'll be using paper to cut the skirt. Okay,